Hello, friends. Not French. Friends. Welcome to another episode of... Oh shit, that scared me. Jeez. Welcome to another episode of... I heard my own voice coming out of the speaker that was monitoring my streaming, and I thought that there was someone in here. Crazy, right? Listen, today, as I mentioned on the last episode, what I'm planning to do here on Eric's Yearwood's weapons chamber is to spend multiple days developing a VR weapons system. And the way that I'm going to do that is by sculpting it here for you, and I'll spend one day sculpting the actual weapon, spend another day sculpting the enemy I'm going to use that weapon to destroy, and then a third day on the environment. So today I'm going to be working on the environment where this is going to take place. This is all for my VR game, Portal Warrior, which is available on Steam, but I'm doing a Portal Warrior Episode 2. So anyways, let me show you what we've been working on with all the tons of people following this. So last episode we created this this sort of what do you call this? Like a pterodactyl type character, and half drone, half pterodactyl, and this is going to be the thing that is going to sort of come at you, and by you, I mean Portal Warrior, when you play the game. And then we also created a sword. This was kind of the weapon that we would use to freaking slice this guy apart. And then today, we're going to be working on the environment where this is going to take place, and I'm thinking we're going to do, it sort of makes sense to do maybe a cave, some sort of maybe I was imagining a cave in like an asteroid, inside of an asteroid, right? So Portal Warrior, he's on a mission to find something in the asteroid. All of a sudden he's being attacked by these flying pterodactyl drones, and he has to wield his chopper blade to slice them apart. Now, for those of you watching now or later, please check out the social media tags that are listed on the screen, because I'd love you to watch me over at Twitch. If you go onto Twitch and you get in the chat, you can talk to me, and I'll actually be able to see it here in the box. It's Twitch at Yearwood, Yarwad. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. And maybe we will roll, you know? I'm talking about doing MDMA or some other type of drugs. Maybe we'll do a little of that. You know. Listen, I'm thinking of starting out. Here's my vision for what I'm thinking this could look like. And I'm thinking it could be like a... actually, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to start with a cube. Thinking that... I'm imagining Portal Warrior sort of in a cave. A giant, like I said, in an asteroid. And there's a platform in the middle, because there's always, you can't really do much if you don't have a good platform, is what I always say. So we are going to turn this into like a platform that is kind of in the middle of the this cave. And that's where the bats will start to attack. It's really annoying that this... Oh, and by the way, speaking of annoying, my music sucks, so pardon for that. There's a good explanation for it, but I don't know if I want to get into it right now. So anyways, this is going to be the pillar that comes up from the bottom of the cave floor. This is going to be our sort of podium where Portal Warrior is going to stand on it. Okay. And let's move this here. Okay. Hope everybody's doing great today. Doing great. All right, we'll set this at an angle. And I'm going to group these objects together. We can ungroup them later and do a little bit more touch-up. But right now I'm just going to kind of fill out the broad strokes. Okay, so these are going to be our sort of stalactites that are going to be sticking from the ceiling and from the ground. So, let's see. Looking like a, decent stalactite. If you're in the chat, if you're watching, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your fears are. Let me know some of your, deep secrets. Because this isn't just meant to be some sort of a... This isn't meant to just be about me. It's meant to be an experience we can all share together. Alright. So, I don't love how... If you look on the stalactite, I gotta move some things around here. So thanks for being patient with me while I sort of surgically alter the stalactite. Oops. Why is that happening? Okay. This music makes me want to freaking... Makes me want to chop my head off. Alright. So, stalactite. What do you think? Does that starting to look like a big triangle? Or a pyramid? Excelente. So, stalactites everywhere. And now that we've got the kind of general size, and then we can just duplicate these things all over the place. And now we can scale these down. Oops. And make a bunch of them really kind of tiny. And just make them various shapes and sizes. So, as you can see, we've got the beginnings of a cave. So I'm just gonna kind of rotate this around, place these stalactites all over. Hope you're staying warm out there for those viewers that are in New York City. Anybody doing anything fun this weekend? We've got one viewer, so I suppose that I'm talking to you, whoever you are out there. So, you guys able to see this okay? So this looks like, a place where you don't want to fall off of this podium, because if you do, then you end up plummeting to your doom. While I'm here, I'm going to kind of adjust this podium a little bit. I'm going to add some edge loops here. Subdivide. Oops. Do. Okay. why don't I just, sorry, I'm being a little crappy right now. I'm not, I need to value everybody's time. And I'm just sort of experimenting at this point. Is anybody actually checking in? What I want to do is I want to create an edge loop that will allow me to add some corners to this thing. And I can't figure out how to do that at this moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort of move on. All right, so I'm going to, not only do we want stalactites on the bottom of this thing, we also want stalactites on the top. Because, you know, it is a cave and all. So we're going to now put these things all over the top of the cave. And my hope with this is that I can just throw a roof on top of it once we're done here and call it a day. So. Does anybody remember who Kimmy Gibbler is? She was a character on the TV show Full House when I was a child. All right. So we've got that going. So now, Portal Warrior, as he stands upon his freaking platform, he is surrounded by the dangerous stalactites and stalagmites. So now we're gonna work on making the walls of this thing, and I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Sorry, I keep getting text messages. Who would that be? Ah. Okay. My job. Okay. Let's keep moving. Alright, so let's do, what do we want? Why don't we use a sphere for the walls, and that way we can just, they've already got all these faces, and then we can just kind of start to pull out the faces of this thing to create a bunch of irregular shapes. Is that what we want to do? No. We'll use a cube. I'm not feeling it as daring today as I might. So we'll just kind of err on the conservative side and create a couple of shapes for this. And I am going to modify this by making it a little less wide. I know there's some real big, whatchamacallit, some freaking music heads in the audience today. So I can put a, if you're looking at my headset, I can put this subdivide let's see. I want to make an edge loop that goes all the way around. And how can I do that? There's my extrude. There's my reshape. And subdivide. Let me know if you guys are bored. 'Cause if so, then I might change my ways. let me just respond to my boss real quick, since let's see. So, okay, back at it. Sometimes you got to respond to a work email. So we've got one wall of this thing, and I am going to, let's see actually what would happen if I use this stroke tool. I wonder what happens if I make the stroke really large and in charge. That's fun. It's not really what we want, but sometimes fun is the main ingredient to creativity. So let's insert, subdivide this thing. Okay, so I kind of figured out a little hack here with regard to, if you're looking at my headset view, I can insert these edge loops all the way around by adding, well, I can essentially line them up with my previous edge loop positions, and that'll work, I think, for our purposes. Okay, let me insert a couple more edge loops. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to enter them into the chat. Now, why did that happen? If you don't like this music, then you are not alone, because I also don't like it. Okay, grab this. What I'm doing is I'm just sort of building out the walls of this cavern. And I'm just gonna kind of make it sort of irregular looking. And then we'll just duplicate it. And move it around. Whoa. This is the kind of music that makes you want to, like, sort of conquer the world, you know? This is the kind of music that Logan Paul masturbates to. Sorry. Sorry for that blue. Sometimes you get a little blue, you know? When you're doing comedy. And I do consider what I'm doing right now comedy. So I hope you don't disagree. because I consider it comedy in the sort of Dante's Divine Comedy sort of sense. All right, so I'm gonna start plugging. This is gonna be my wall. All right, and we're just gonna kind of put this around. Let's say this is the right side. Okay, so now if we got this, and then we're gonna kind of make another one of these. So now this is starting to look like you're in a cavern a little bit. And I can duplicate this again, make it the floor here. And I'm gonna scale it up. Hopefully I can do that. Okay. All right. How's that look? Is that someplace you want to be? I think it is. This is it's a dangerous layer. And so, I think that is pretty much how this is going to look. So from here, I can just basically duplicate these walls, grab these shapes, sort of build out the rest of the cave, and then I'll make that platform a little bit more circular, maybe add a few more details, and and then make it fully enclosed. So really after this, the only other things that I have left to do is I've got to make the mechanic to where when I am chopping these guys with my sword. Oops. Then when I'm chopping these guys with my sword, make the mechanic to where they explode on impact. So I've got to put, collider on the sword, collider on the, what do you call them? Pterodactyl enemies. And so the pterodactyls are going to be kind of flying in from various parts of the cave. I'm going to be chopping them down with the sword here. And we will... so I'll set up those mechanics. And then the next time that I broadcast, I will be broadcasting from inside of this virtual reality world and fighting these pterodactyls as Portal Warrior. So let me just do one more thing by way of erasing this, and then I'm gonna save this. Save locally. Okay, so yeah, folks, thank you so much for another wonderful and sensual experience today, and I will look forward to seeing you inside of this world when next we meet. So, thanks so much. See you later.